Hey guys, it's your boy Pooh, here for a special holiday edition of the Dragon Ball question and answers. Now, most questions, as I just said, will be about Dragon Ball, but some will also be just personal questions to me. So just let you know that off the bat. And how this will go is I will answer my patrons' questions first, then I will answer the questions on the community note, and then I will answer the questions people have sent in anonymously. And also, I might be a little bit slow on the uptake because the past month I have been working 6 to 7 days a week, double shifts. This past week was 7 days a week. And today was Christmas, and I am super sleepy. So this might not be entirely coherent, but I will answer to the best of my ability. Okay, now let's begin. Alright, so on my Patreon, by the way, I have a new patron, and someone else has upped how much they are willing to support me. Stridency has added $2 to make it $5 a month, which is awesome, thank you. And I have someone new, and they are Pilgor. And also, Pilgor, I like the Balin skull icon. He's probably the best character in the Ahsoka series. Anyway, let's get to the questions. There are only 3 of them for my patrons, but I guess either they weren't very curious or some of them didn't see it, unfortunately. But who knows? All right, now let's see. Who else but Zane asks, why do you think Toriyama forgot about Launch? My theory is that the edgy character role was taken by Piccolo, and then Vegeta, and then 18, etc., etc. Well, it's weird. On Kenzenshu, it says that Toriyama did not forget Launch. It was a conscious choice, but I disagree. I think it's pretty explicit that Toriyama did forget Launch. I don't know why. There was some Kenzenshu article that was like trying to debunk that rumor, but I think it's pretty explicit. It's not a rumor. He completely forgot Launch for a bit, and then he just didn't want to bring her back because there was no room anymore because the story had already kicked off, and bringing her back would be kind of strange. It was certainly not a like you say, why do you think Toriyama forgot about Launch? And then your theory is that edgy character role was taken by Piccolo, and then Vegeta, and then 18. Which implies that not only do you think he forgot about Launch, but then later it was a conscious choice. I think it was just him forgetting about Launch. And even when people brought her up later, he's like, oh, well, how else would I put her in there? So, yeah, I feel like that's the case. I don't think he had really a reason. He just completely forgot about her. And then later on, he just kind of was just like, yeah, I think, I don't know how else I'd put her in here. It is funny. I will say something that Kenzenshu did bring up, which is true, is that when Android 17 was giving his energy in the Buu saga to the Spirit Bomb, he said a line like that implied he'd met Goku before, but in the manga he had never actually met Goku, and apparently Launch was supposed to be where Android 17 was, and it was supposed to be her. But for some reason they switched. I forgot why. Anyway, good question though. Okay, Totentans. How many months on average does it take for a Kenzenshu account to be approved? I have no idea. I don't even recall if I even have an account on there. Because even though I've been on a bunch of forums, I never really interacted on the Kenzenshu forums. I just read through some of it. I've been on plenty of forums, but I don't know, Kenzenshu was mostly just articles or manga stuff for me. Let's see. Where can I buy a time machine for $36? Probably Papa John's. You'd be surprised. All right. What martial arts do you /have you practiced? I think I mentioned that. I box myself, but it's always cool to hear from others about this stuff. Oh, cool. You box. Awesome. I hope you still practice. I have done Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and Kyokushin Karate. And I've done a little bit of practicing on my own when it comes to stuff like Jeet Kune Do and, let's see, and some Western martial arts when it comes to swordplay. But mostly what I've really taken classes for is Kyokushin Karate, which is another word for Oyama Karate, and Wing Chun Kung Fu. But cool. Super cool that you box. I wanna go to Thailand at some point and learn Muay Thai. Okay. And Stridency asks, why/how on earth does it take so long to grow Senzu beans? Obviously Toriyama never really explores it, but I do hear that houseplants take longer to grow because there's limited space and limited resources and water and light. Maybe that's the Senzu bean, but it's up to 11. Although I will say that maybe it's not the beans, but the plant itself that takes a while, and then harvesting the beans also takes a while, so it takes double the amount of time, probably. That's probably the reason. Okay, but those are all great questions. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate y'all. Now, let's get to y'all on YouTube. Okay, now, not everyone asked on the correct community note, although most of you did, which is good. But the ones that you didn't ask, it is the season of cheer, so don't worry, I will find yours as well. But let's start with the ones on the community note. Okay. Harun O. Giobana 4642 asks, he says, Poohead, I don't really care about the name, but I love the videos. Hey, I appreciate that. I think I've seen you before as well. One question is, how would you improve upon Resurrection F? It's one of my favorite Dragon Ball movies, and I see a lot of criticism on it. Where do you think they could have changed things to make it better? I like Resurrection of F as well. For some reason, I do see a lot of criticisms of it. I see a lot of people criticizing Resurrection of F and loving Battle of Gods. And I enjoy both. In fact, I love pretty much all of the movies in the Super era, even if I have a lot of problems with Super. But I feel like it should be kind of the opposite. I think that Resurrection of F is less boring than Battle of Gods. And now, I like Battle of Gods, but I don't know. I think Resurrection of F is just really good. I think what can make it better, though, is... I don't know. It was kind of weird. Beerus and Whis, whenever they just hang around and watch, it's always kind of strange. It kind of takes away some of the urgency. And I will say that while I do not blame Toriyama or anyone from having Goku be the one to beat Frieza, because I'm not one of those guys who thinks Vegeta needs a W, because I feel like he gets plenty of Ws. But it was pretty cheap for Vegeta to beat up Frieza, and then have Goku come and just blow him up. But it was also even more cheap for Goku to get impaled by a weak-ass laser beam from a henchman. That was also super stupid. So I guess those two things, probably, were those three things. Beerus and Whis not being there to give some urgency, and Goku not getting cheap-shotted, and Frieza not getting cheap-shotted by Goku. Those three things would probably make Resurrection of F. I think people would lose most of their criticisms of the movie with that. Good question, though. All right. Sia Deveb Wujwowb 485. Come on, guys. You gotta tell me how to say these things. What theories do you have? Ooh, what theories do I have? Okay, this is going to be a cop-out answer, but I think most of my videos give at least one theory or another. So there's a lot of theories I already have out there in the ether. I guess one of the main ones is that I theorize that Tien learned the Kaioken technique. And I guess another theory that I have is that Super Saiyans cannot get Zenkais or Saiyan power boosts. I guess those are two theories I have. I feel like I feel like the first one is pretty likely and the second one is heavily implied, but it's neither outright stated, so I can't really say it. So I guess they're technically theories, but I feel like those are very, very likely things. All right. Good question, though. Devin Capote 9846 says, Poohhead, I really hope this question gets to you in time. Don't worry, it did. I've been wondering for a long time, what is the significance of Trunks' hand movements when he does his burning attack, Ki Blast, as named in the video games, not sure if that's official, when he is facing off against Frieza? It's like the only time something like that is that flashy with the hand movements. Is it necessary? Why does he do it once and then never again? I will say that it's not the only time that happens. There's a few times in the manga, and particularly the anime, but also the manga as well, where people do flashy hand movements before attacks. The significance of it, we are never told, but I will say that it's very similar to, like, what is the significance of, like, Goku saying Kamehameha and, cupping his hands and doing it like that. Technically, he doesn't need to do that, but there is something that is significant about him doing that. I would probably say that it's a certain way to gather up the energy and maybe, like, sort of summoning the ki in a certain way to make the attack particularly dangerous. It's really hard to say. I wish I could give a real good answer for that. Why does he do it once and never again? Well, I guess he just never really has a reason to use the burning attack again. Honestly, it might have just been one of his regular moves, or a move that he thought was useful in that moment but wasn't useful at any other time. He did his hand movements, and he did that move because Frieza did not know where he was at first until he yelled for Frieza to like see it. So like he was planning on doing an attack that could likely kill Frieza if it hit, but if it didn't hit, that it would hit in a way to where Frieza would dodge in a certain way, to where he would then cut Frieza to ribbons. So it's probably that. But honestly, if you have the time to power up an attack, then you will power up in any way you can. And just like putting both your fingers on your forehead for the special beam cannon, or cupping your hands and reciting the name for the Kamehameha, the burning attack likely just is summoned. The ki is summoned in that way. Although I will say it's a good mirror, like his hand slicing through the air like that is a good mirror to how he slices up Frieza with his sword, like the next page. So yeah, that's all I can mostly say about that. I wish I could get a better answer though. All right, Super Jinimbu. Hey, I know you can pronounce Jinimbu. You're right, I can. 1. Do you enjoy all the Xenoverse and Heroes shenanigans and the stuff that has come from those parts of the franchise? Yeah, I actually quite like those. They're not really canon to an extent, but honestly, I think that makes it much more enjoyable. I think, if something is non-canon, I can enjoy it to its fullest, because I don't have to pick it apart. I'm going to be like, well, this doesn't work with this, or this doesn't work with that. Sorry, I got a text. That was my little brother. Yeah, I don't have to pick it apart, and I can just enjoy it for what it is, and I think those were enjoyable, yeah. I haven't seen a lot of Heroes, and I haven't beaten Xenoverse 2. I really need to get back into them. But I do know the plots, and I've seen a lot of the fights. And I have played Xenoverse 2, I just don't think I've fully beat it. But I do enjoy them. Now, your second question, where would you place the Majin Boos on your Dragon Ball villains tier list? You better like that gum, big man. Yeah, I do like the gum. My tier list. I don't know if you mean strength, or if you mean, like, how much I enjoy them. Boos, I would say... I like the Boos quite a bit. But I will say that the Boo saga is probably my least favorite Dragon Ball Z saga. But but that does not mean I dislike it. My least favorite Dragon Ball Z saga is something that I enjoy more than most other things anyway. But I think Boo was a pretty interesting villain. And it definitely convinced me on its strength to make Boo that sort of like malleable and amorphous, but also filled with malice. That was really neat. So I do quite like Boo. I don't know about, like, compared... I really like Cell, and I really like Frieza, and I'm a huge fan of the Saiyans. And then if we want to get into Dragon Ball, I think King Piccolo is really strong. And Piccolo Jr. wasn't a bad villain either. God, Tao was good. There's so many good ones. It's really hard to say. But I think the Boo's probably my least favorite for Z, but I still quite like them. I do not dislike them at all. I like them a lot. Okay, now One Rib One asks, could Yamcha beat Luffy? It depends on the Yamcha and the Luffy. I think any Yamcha past first tournament Yamcha could beat, or the 21st tournament Yamcha could beat any Luffy. But before that, there's certain versions of Luffy that could beat up Yamcha. Also, hope you don't mind that I'm eating, kind of. Okay. Static Hydra 8678 asks, sorry if you've already answered this in another video, but which form of Boo do you think is the strongest? Of course, some people argue for a distinction between strength and behavior when discussing this, but still, I'm curious what you think. Boo-Han was definitely the strongest. Then Boo-Tanks. Then probably Super Boo. Then Kid Boo. Then Evil Boo. Then Fat Boo. Probably like that. But I think Evil Boo and Fat Boo and Kid Boo were all very near the same. They were all very close to each other. But yeah, Boo-Han definitely. But if you're asking like between Super Boo and Kid Boo, Super Boo is stronger. Okay. Nico Alexovich asks, how old are you and in which age were you introduced to Dragon Ball? As of the making of this video, I am 33 years old. I'll be 34 in like 4 months. It's in March, my birthday, March 4th. I was introduced to Dragon Ball when I was 5 years old. I saw it on WB as a kid on Saturday mornings. And then once it got on Toonami, I was like, oh, this is the best. So yeah, 1996. I was a wee small lad and was introduced to Dragon Ball. I actually saw Sailor Moon before that for like 8 episodes. And I was like, oh, Sailor Moon's cool. And then Dragon Ball showed up and I'm like, whoa, this is even cooler. And nothing has ever beaten it since. Yu Yu Hakusho and like G Gundam and like Rurouni Kenshin and, you know, a bunch of those classic ones got close, but Dragon Ball's my top. All right. What's the worst... JP Cow K the Silver Spooner 975. Oh, you asked me a question last time. One of my other Q&A videos. Hey, what's up, dude? What's the worst nightmare you've ever had? Well, that's a doozy. I actually don't dream a lot. I dream maybe half a dozen to a dozen times a year. I think it's because I daydream so much because I'm an author that there's nothing left in my head and I just kind of conk out. Well, obviously I do dream sometimes. It's just not new. Some people dream like every night, but I certainly do not. The worst nightmare I've ever had. Well, I've definitely been killed in dreams. I've definitely been in scary places. But I think the worst nightmares I've ever had was when I went through my first heartbreak with a girl that I was planning on marrying. This was a while ago now, but I was with her for years, and she kind of shattered my heart, and I started having nightmares about that. Like I remember one of them, I was running across this world, and it was almost like King Kai's world. Although this has nothing to do with Dragon Ball. This dream had nothing to do with Dragon Ball, but this is the best way I can describe it, which is it was a small planet. That was kind of like a little bit bigger than King Kai's planet. And I was running on this like dirt sort of road, and to the left and right of me were like a lightly wooded area and a body of water, and there were people all around me. And I was running and running and running while people were just kind of like, it was almost like a camp site, just without camps and just like a road. And just like weird, like a lakeside beach on both sides. But I was running and running and running. looking for my ex. And then I suddenly, through the crowd, as I'm running around this small planet, I see her. And I remember suddenly I was afraid that she would look at me. And I kind of ran away at that. And I think I woke up then. I can't remember many scary nightmares. I mean, I remember I was in a nightmare where I was like, walking down, this shopping strip when it like at nighttime. And for some reason I broke into this little store, and I realized that I was doing it to get away from somebody, and this guy like shot me in a drive-by. But like that, I don't think I was super scared, like it wasn't dreadful. Like I remember one time having a nightmare that I was downstairs in my old house where I grew up in, and like there was a green tint to everything, and I realized I was in a dream, and behind this other door was a monster. But I knew I was in a dream, but I also knew that like the monster was still there. But like those aren't scary to me. Like I didn't wake up feeling stressed out. But when I dreamed about my ex, because of my heartbreak, I would wake up stressed out. So I feel like those are worse nightmares. But yeah, thanks for the question. Wallaby Winters. Anything? He asks. Oh boy. If your girlfriend or boyfriend, I don't know, and your mom switch bodies and you had to sleep with one of them to reverse the body switch, who would you choose? What the fuck, man? He says, I'm already sorry I asked. Well, I did say he could ask anything. That's on me. If your girlfriend or your boyfriend and your mom switch bodies, well, it'd be girlfriend because I'm straight. Your mom switched bodies and you had to sleep with one of them to reverse the body switch. Who would you choose? Well, I would ask, do I really have to reverse this? And just because I wouldn't want to, I'd probably ask them. I'd probably let them decide because I would not want, if I have to do this, I don't want to be the one that makes that decision. Man. That's fucked up. It's kind of like one of those questions you get asked in high school. I guess I would... Man, if I had to choose, I guess I would sleep with my girlfriend in the other body because at least it would only affect me and I wouldn't scar either of them. So I would probably try to take the selfless choice out of this horrible situation. But hey, as shitty as that question is, you got me. I did say ask me anything. So, all right. Thanks, Wallaby. All right. Sad Clown Join 5021 asks, if you could change 1 to 2 things in each Dragon Ball Z saga, what, if anything, would you change? Ooh, man. Okay, you did say Dragon Ball Z saga and not Dragon Ball in general. I guess it's hard to say because, like, I don't want to change much of Dragon Ball Z because I love it so much, but, like, there are things I'd like to see potentially, but I also wouldn't want to change it to make it different either. You know what I mean? Like, I would love for Tien to have lived in Gondanamek, but at the same time, I feel like his spirit Tribeam was cool, and I'm glad he went to the King Kai's planet. Like, I kind of wish Goku and Vegeta continued their fight, and Vegeta didn't go Ozaru, and Goku just beat him. But at the same time, without Ozaru, we didn't get that fucking cool-ass Yajirobe cutting his tail off, and stuff like that. I think on Namek, I'd say maybe Dodoria and Zarbon live a little bit longer. Maybe Krillin and Gohan fight a few more, mooks. Nail fighting someone in the Ginyu Force would be cool. I'm gonna skip the Frieza fight, because really I don't know of any other way that would have been better. I'm gonna go to Android Saga. Maybe see the humans fight a little bit more. And then for Cell, That's hard to say. I probably would have made the manga have the anime filler, with people actually putting up a decent fight against the Cell Juniors, and with everyone joining in to attack Cell at the very end. That was cool. And with the Boo Saga, I would have liked Goku and Vegeta to maybe have fought without Vegeta going Majin first. Well, I guess that's just technically the World Tournament Saga. For the Boo Saga, maybe see Gotenks go Super Saiyan 2 for a longer period of time if he did it all. That would be cool. But good question, though. All right, Lizzie After Midnight. Oh, hey, Liz, what's up? Yo, Poohead, which character is the best drip and which outfits from DB are your faves? Love the content, bro. Hey, I appreciate that. Goku's Yardrat outfit is probably the best outfit in the series, in my opinion. Although I do love the classic gi. I love the gi. I love Yamcha's gi in the 22nd tournament. I love the gi after training at King Kai's planet. I think the gi itself, just like the orange or red with the blue sash belt and those work boots, labor boots, those are fucking awesome. Just the whole fit is cool, the regular fit. Piccolo obviously looks cool. Tien in his green outfit in the Android arc is really cool. I think Tien just has some of the best design. Best drip. Yeah, I already did say Yardrat was probably my favorite. One thing about Dragon Ball Z is that everyone has a great fit. Whether they are useful in the saga or not, they just look cool. I liked, let's go to the ladies. I liked, Bulma's Arabian outfit near the beginning of the series. And I also liked Chi-Chi's 23rd tournament outfit. And I also think that, Bulma has a lot of good outfits. Launch's outfit is iconic. But it's rather simple. This isn't canon, so I don't know if it counts, but Android 21's Majin outfit is obviously really sexy, so I'll probably say, I'll just mention those, but I think the Yardrat outfit looks the coolest. And obviously Piccolo's fit looks really cool on him and Gohan. But I appreciate the compliment, though, and thanks for the question. That's a good question. All right. Updog in the Flesh asks, and hey, I know you as well, Updog, of course. Hello, Pooh. What kind of music do you like? Do you listen to just anything, or do you have specific artists you really enjoy listening to? That's a good question. I listen to I like a little bit of everything, but I think I'm mostly a rock guy. I love hard rock, I love grunge, post-grunge, new metal, regular metal, but all of that has a little bit of rock in it, and that's pretty much what I enjoy. I'll name off a few bands. Someone else asked me the same question, so I'll list all my bands later on, but a few bands that I love is 3 Days Grace, Seether, Disturbed, Foo Fighters, Saint Asonia, Stained, Evanescence, Linkin Park, obviously, Crossfade. I actually like Nickelback, although there's some of their middle stuff that was just about sex and drugs that I didn't like, but some of their earlier stuff, and then the later stuff that got to become more metal, I like that. Let's see, Creed, Cage the Elephant. I love Chevelle. Breaking Benjamin, Deftones, Mudvayne, Papa Roach, Rise Against, those kinds of stuff. Finger 11, Saliva. I love this kind of shit. But I do like oldies as well, because my dad had me grow up on oldies. Billy Joel, I love Billy Joel. I like Foreigner. Stuff like that. I don't really like a lot of pop or hip hop or rap, but I do like some of it. I like old school stuff, I like Nelly for R&B. That's 90s sort of R&B. Yeah, I have more to say, but like someone else asked a very similar question. I'll get to it. Good question, though. All right, just keep miffin. I believe I recognize you as well. I read somewhere that Tien's Tribeam had a 50 times multiplier, but I was told that's unreliable. Do we know the exact multiplier of Tribeam? If it was 50 times, then a basic Kaioken would put him at Super Saiyan 2 level. Mito. Oh yeah, that's Mito asking. Sorry about that. Tien's Tribeam does not have a 50 times multiplier. I can tell you that. We don't know exactly the multiplier. I would say Tien's Tribeam probably has a 4 times multiplier, and his Neo Tribeam skyrockets it to either 80 to 120. Now, this is all speculation on my end. We don't actually know. But that is what I would guess after thinking about it for a while. I think Tien's regular Tribeam is 3 to 4 times, and his Neo Tribeam goes up from 80 to 120, potentially. Although I think that his Neo Tribeam adds the Kaioken to the Tribeam. So I think one reason why he can skyrocket to that is because he uses I talk about all this in my Tribeam video, actually, and I talk about it a little bit in the Kaioken video. So yeah, I think I've already said all this before, but yeah, that's what I think the multiplier is. But there's no stated version of any multiplier for the Tribeam. No one actually knows. Okay, but interesting question, and thank you for also saying Merry Christmas. Cool, Merry Christmas to you too. Okay. Tristan Desimaz 3236 asks, who is better, Piccolo or Gohan? You mean who I like more? Probably Piccolo. Unless you're talking about future Gohan, then he's my second favorite character, so it depends on the type of Gohan, but probably Piccolo, I'll say. Although I do quite like Kid Gohan as well. Alright, Nuts asks, 1, do you think grade 2 or grade 3 of Super Saiyan have a higher multiplier than grade 1? Do I think grade 2 or grade 3 of Super Saiyan have a higher multiplier? Yes, I do. In fact, they have to. There's either it's a higher multiplier or it just is stronger without actually making it a determined multiplier. But like it has to be, it is stronger. It is definitely stronger. And your second question is, are you on the side of grade 4 having a higher multiplier or the side of thanks to Goku and Gohan's bases just got a lot stronger and grade 4 only increases stamina over grade 1? I actually talk about this in a video too. I used to be on the side of grade 4, which is mastered super, like, I don't call them grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4. I call grade 2 Ascended Super Saiyan, grade 3, Ultra Super Saiyan, and then grade 4 Mastered Super Saiyan. But I think that Ascended Super Saiyan and Ultra Super Saiyan do have a higher multiplier. Mastered Super Saiyan, I used to think for an extremely long amount of time that it had to have a higher multiplier. It had to. But it doesn't now. I don't think it does now. As it's stated, it doesn't. But what I think makes it stronger isn't just Goku and Gohan's bases being stronger, but it's that, like, while the transformation only gives them a 50 times multiplier, like it says in Daizenshuu for the regular Super Saiyan, that becomes their base. And so after that, they can increase their power level after that, like you can power up regularly. So like what was once your base is now times 50, and what is now your powered up state is like 1.8 or 2 times the already 50 times multiplier. Now it's not 2 times because that would be Super Saiyan 2, but you know what I mean? Like you're increasing your strength even further once you power up in that state, which is something you could not do as a regular Super Saiyan. But I don't think it has an increased multiplier. You can just then power up again more so without having to give yourself another form, which saves energy. But yeah, I did talk about that in my Super Saiyan 2 video, actually. All right. EK Cosmos asks, what type of music are you into? Yeah, okay, you asked that again. Yeah, like I said, I love grunge, post-grunge, new metal, hard rock. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this much. I've played in a few video game tournaments in my day. When I used to play Dawn of War 2 competitively, and I would listen to Linkin Park all the time when I'd be playing the Eldar or the Orcs. And a few years ago, I would play Total War Warhammer 2 tournaments, and I listened to the new Tool album when I was doing that. So yeah, I love I love guitar riffs, love drums. I love like really passionate, like I wouldn't say angry music, but yeah, I love passionate music. Let me name off a few more bands as well. Bands that I didn't name last time. I like Hoobastank. I like Bring Me the Horizon. I like Decipher Down, Audio Slave, Pearl Jam, Haji's Kitchen. Let's see. You know, if you've ever seen the 2004 Punisher movie, if you listen to the entire album of that movie, it's pretty much everything I like as well. Yeah. Let's see. Mudvayne, Thousand Foot Crutch, Bush, Metallica, obviously, Saving Abel, 30 Seconds to Mars, that kind of stuff. But again, I do like the oldies, and I do like some pop and some hip hop and some rap, but like it's mostly rock or a mixture of rock and something else. Thanks for the question, because I do like talking about music too. All right, Bushwacky Doms, I recognize you, boy. I have two questions. One, what was your first game console/platform, and what was your favorite game on that console? The Super Nintendo was my first game console. It was 96 as well. No, it was 95. Yeah. It was like a year before I saw Dragon Ball. I was 4 years old, a little itty bitty baby poo head. And I would play like Mario Kart and like the Aladdin game and the Lion King game. Different little games like that. It's hard to remember, obviously, back then. There was this Godzilla game I loved. I don't know if that was Nintendo 64 or not. Maybe a Super Nintendo. I forgot it. I need to look up that game again because I love Godzilla. But yeah, Super Nintendo. 2, if you could be any human Dragon Ball universe character, not including half Saiyans, but maybe including quarter Saiyans or lower, including from the extended universe like the games, which would you be and why is it Yamcha? Which would I be? Well, Tien is my favorite character. You know, I do not have the face to pull off a bald look, but I wish I did because I would totally cosplay Tien. I think Yamcha is what I look like closest in looks, actually. So it might actually be Yamcha. But, I guess I'd say I wish I could be Tien, but I think Yamcha's probably the closest, so I'd probably be Yamcha. But I wouldn't mind being Pigoro either, which is that filler character that Gohan meets in the anime in the Saiyan Saga after he escapes Piccolo and he runs away. But yeah, it's probably Yamcha. You're actually probably right. Let's see. Silly Face Man 450. I recognize you, I believe, just as I recognize Bushwhack. As a huge GT fan, I really enjoyed your GT takes in the Q&A. Hey, thanks. Do you have any more in-depth opinions on it? Main focus being the Super Baby and Shadow Dragon arcs of the show, mainly what you liked and maybe what you thought could have been better. Super Baby 2 has always been a favorite of mine. Man. I appreciate that. I don't remember GT as much as I wish I could, because I've only really gone through, like, most of it once. I mean, I've seen other things multiple times, but, like, you know, me and my friend Dave have been planning on maybe rewatching GT. which would be cool, and I have a better answer for you, and I might even make like a video or two about it. But I guess I really enjoy Baby because I think the Tuffles is something that should have been like explored a bit more. And I like the science fiction aspect of it. And I do like, I mean, like I already said that I love the Shadow Dragon and stuff like that because I feel like the Dragon Balls having consequences is a really good idea. And like fighting dragons themselves is super badass. I wish I could have a better, more thoughtful answer. But I'll tell you what, if me and Dave watch GT, I will make videos on it to tell you what I like. But thank you so much for the question, though. I wish I could answer it better. All right, Thanos DeVito asks, love the icon in the name. Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? Will you wear wigs? When will you wear wigs? For those of you who don't know and are not cultured, this is from the Lord of the Rings extended bonus content of when Dominic Monaghan portrayed himself and masqueraded as a interviewer to interview Elijah Wood. And he was acting like he was a foreign person, asking about wigs for some reason. And Elijah Wood was just so like incredulous about what was going on. So I recognized that immediately. Do I wear wigs? No. Have you worn wigs? I have once. For a school thing. Will you wear wigs? Potentially. When will you wear wigs? I can't give up that information. I'm sorry, buddy. Cole P. Warren. Hey, what's up, boy? What are your current struggles and wins with training IRL? Thanks for all the awesome content, Big Dog, and happy holidays. Hey, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. What are my current struggles and wins with training? My current struggles are that I don't have a lot of time to train. My current wins is that I got my abs back in the last week just from mostly dieting without being able to train too much. But at the same time, I want to get, I mean, it's the new year very soon, so I'm going to bulk up and I'm going to also slim down. And I'm also going to post that workout video for y'all. But it's mostly the time is my main struggle. And the wins is that I can now feel the abs again. But good question. And appreciate the compliment. I appreciate you. Info players, who is your favorite character and why? Oh, Tien. Because he has the best design and the best fights. And he has the coolest attitude, I think. And what is my favorite move from said character? Ooh. Favorite move? Actually, I would say that like the way Tien just punches in general is super cool. It's very authentically like Chinese martial art. But if the regular punch like doesn't count, then I guess the Tribeam, the Neo Tribeam, just for showing up and then just being like a tank shell. But I will say my favorite technique is the Kaioken technique, but out of Tien's techniques, either his like just martial arts style or the Neo Tribeam. I do like the Dodon Ray though, and the multiform, of course, and the Four Witches technique. Yeah, those are all cool. All right, thanks for the question though. Hazer36 or Hazard36. What would your build be if you were in a Dragon Ball RPG? Ooh, man, that's good because I do play tabletop role playing games. I've been a DM before, and I've been a player many times as well in Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer role playing and Edge of the Empire, Pathfinder, various stuff like that. Man, I would probably be maybe a Crane Hermit human fighter, potentially, or a Crane School human fighter, but I don't know, the Turtle School is really iconic, and I do love turtles. I probably wouldn't want to be a Saiyan or a half Saiyan or a Namekian, because I feel like just the humans are so cool in Dragon Ball, which is very strange, because usually I'm someone who likes being non-human. But like in Dragon Ball, I don't know. I think the humans are super cool. So probably that. Now, as for stats, that'd be difficult for me to... I actually I have a novel character that is very reminiscent of Dragon Ball. I'll write that novel or finish that novel eventually. But I did make him on tabletop, and I gave him like a Kaioken type of move and a Ki Blast type of move, and sort of like a flurry of blows kind of move. I need to look him up again, but his name is Baron Dragon Fist. Yeah. I hope this is the best answer. I hope this is an answer that's satisfying. But that's a great question, though. Fucking good question. Joseph Shimaluski asks, "Hi, jokes on you. I can't read. Also, don't have any questions." Hey, thanks, buddy. Nikki Der Lizard asks, "Oh, I think I recognize you. Hey, Poohead, love your videos. Hey, thanks so much. What are your thoughts on Dragon Ball Kakuma?" I haven't looked at it a ton. I mostly know of it, but I think it sort of scratches that itch for the more sort of edgy, Dragon Ball fandom. And, a lot of people shit on like Dragon Ball on people wanting Dragon Ball to be edgy, and I don't know why, because I think Dragon Ball can be pretty edgy at certain times, so I don't know why people hate that. Like people were criticizing Dragon Ball Daima of being too childish, and then a bunch of people were criticizing them for being fake fans because Dragon Ball is because those fans were like, "Oh, you're just edgelords," and Dragon Ball Z got pretty serious a lot. But back to Kakuma or Kakume, I think it's fairly good from what I've seen, but I have not seen it a bunch, so I really can't say too much. But I love a bunch of I love when Dragon Ball is a fan comic though, because that's super cool. I wish I could give a better answer for some of these. I apologize. Thank you for liking my videos though. I appreciate you. Nathaniel W5N, what is the best moment in the series for you? What is the worst moment? I would love it if you could be as specific and elaborate as possible. The best moment in the series? It depends on the anime or the manga. In the anime, it is what I posted on the community notes a bit ago, which is when Goku, Piccolo, and Tien squared up with androids 19 and 20. I feel like that's the coolest moment in the whole series. I think the worst moment in the whole series is either when Piccolo's light grenade did nothing to Imperfect Cell, or when Bulma showed up in the Android Saga and said that her baby was Vegeta's. I feel like Piccolo's light grenade not harming Imperfect Cell is really bad power scaling. And I feel like that Vegeta and Bulma having a kid is such a blatant plot device. And it's caused a lot of damage to people's understanding of various things in the series as well. I would also say the other best moment in the series is Goku going triple Kaioken against Vegeta. That was fucking cool. When Goku, Piccolo, and Tien were facing off against androids 19 and 20, it was the ambiance, it was the music, it was the flames behind them, the burning city against this almost eldritch enemy. But they were all ready. They all just got ready and they were ready to throw down. That was super cool. And Goku going triple Kaioken against Vegeta, powering up and then attacking him, that was super raw. That was just man, that's... I know you said be elaborate, but words can't describe how raw that is. So good. Okay. Thank you for the question, though. Soap029, I have 2 questions. How old are you? 33 years old. Do you think Super Saiyan 2 was ever mastered? A lot of people think it can, but I don't think so. I feel like Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 are forced evolutions of Super Saiyan due to overclocking the original transformation by unnaturally trying to increase ki and power output, headcanon, Lamau, which is why they are both unstable even though Super Saiyan 2 is significantly more stable than 3. It was mastered in Super, but if we're not counting Super, I don't think it was mastered in the original anime or manga. And I feel like that's very difficult. That'd be very difficult to do. I feel like the best way to master Super Saiyan 2 would be to keep themselves in the Master Super Saiyan state, and then try to keep themselves in the Super Saiyan 2 state for as long as possible, and see if they could do that. But I don't think it was mastered ever in the original manga. No. All right, D's Nuts got him. Love the name. Do you think Dragon Age Inquisition has good writing? Dragon Age Inquisition? Okay, Dragon Age Origins has the best writing. I think we can all agree with that. Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it does have good writing. I think there were times when it sort of wasn't good. Okay, little rant. Here's my problem with Dragon Age. My problem with Dragon Age is that when Dragon Age Origins came out, it had this expansive world, it had really good lore, it had really good characters, really good writing, and the further they went with the games, it started changing the ideals of the universe to make it to where now everything in Dragon Age is not what you thought it was. And I hate that. It's just being contrarian, I think. Like taking away the validity of various religions, taking away the validity of, various sects and lore, and taking away the validity of various pieces of lore and various pieces of history. It's like, oh, it's not what you thought. Actually, they were from the Veil. It's not like what you read in the books, just like history. It wouldn't be bad if it did it for one or two things, but does that with everything, and I don't like it. But Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it has pretty good writing most of the time. I played for like 150 hours, so I did like it. Love video game questions, though. Jurge124. Hey, Pooh, will you do any more power level videos like your Android Saga one? Great video, by the way. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, I plan on doing that, certainly. I plan on doing probably every saga. I just did Android Saga because, I will do them. It won't be often, but I will likely get to all of them. But I started with Android Saga because that was when power levels started becoming that was when power levels stopped being on Scouters, and there was a lot of confusing things about that saga, which is why I did that. But yes, I will very likely do all of them, and I definitely will do more soon. I just won't make it a huge habit because, some people don't want to see more power level videos. But yeah, I will do it. Thanks for liking the video, though. I appreciate that. Deadly24, I recognize you. Hey, Poohed, I have a question. Do you plan on becoming a full-time YouTuber when your channel is big enough to sustain yourself? Guys, y'all got way more confidence in my YouTube than I do. I don't know if okay. What I want to do is to become a full-time novelist and writer. If I made enough money on YouTube to not have to go to work, that would be really cool, but I would need, Jesus Christ, I would need like 200 patrons. I'd need like 30,000 views within like the first 3 days of a video being released. And I need to have 100,000 subs maybe. Like I would need a lot more than I got. When my Frieza video got to be 100,000 views in like a month and a half, that with all my other videos to put together made sure that I had about $500 from my channel 1 month and about $425 the next month. And that was a ton for my YouTube. This month, I'll be lucky if I reach 150. Because I don't have a bunch of, like, all the videos that I have are now only growing a little bit at a time. And I don't have any video that's exploding. So, yeah, it would take a lot of more views and a lot more patrons. But if I had the opportunity, and if it meant that I could write a lot more as well, sure, I would. Yeah, if I could, I would totally quit my job. But like, what I want to be most is an author, and I am an author, just a small time author. But what I want to be most is an author. This YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel are mostly just kind of fun side projects, because I'm very passionate about science fiction, fantasy, and Dragon Ball most of all. But I would need to be way bigger. But I really appreciate you thinking I could do that. And if I could, yeah, definitely. I would love to make more money here. I just also don't want to be the guy to be like, oh, share this with everyone. Oh, I need it. Or like, just be like, oh, please give me your money, patrons. You know, I'm just like, hey, if you want to join my Patreon, cool. If you don't, I am not going to make you do that. But thank you for the confidence, and I appreciate the question too. All right, Scotty Too Thoughty, good name. Oh, also Deadly24, love the Pikachu with the ash hat. That's cool. All right, Scotty Too Thoughty. I believe I asked this on a totally different community post that wasn't up for questions. I was just curious. Hopefully you get a chance to answer this because I'm very curious about this. If a fusion dies, will they stay fused, I thought you meant, when they go to the other world, or what they defuse? And if they were wished back, would they be pushed back as the fusion, or would they be pushed back as the two separate beings that create the fusion? That's an interesting question. If they died while they were fused, I believe they would unfuse. And if they got wished back, I think they would be wished back the way, like, unfused as well. I think the fusion would break. If the fusion breaks when they're inside Boo, and if the fusion doesn't last forever with the fusion dance either, I think it would just be null and void when they go to the afterlife, I believe. Interesting question, though. Okay, Coley Zero, you like crab legs? I fucking love crab legs. Dude, I love crab legs. I mean, I don't have the occasion to eat them a lot, but I grew up in Florida. I'm used to seafood anyway, but crab legs pretty good. Okay. Also, good Dale icon. Dev Patio asks, 2 questions. First, how are you enjoying DB Daima so far? Me and the boys thought it was all right, but kind of mid for, like, a lot of episodes, and now it's getting better. Okay, when I say mid, I don't mean it was bad. People always assume mid means bad. Mid just means mid. Mid means normal or okay. I felt like it was okay until recently, and it's getting better. It's getting more exciting. But I just wish it wouldn't retcon like 2 things every episode. There's no reason to do that. That's my main gripe with it. And also the power scaling is ridiculous, but like I've grown immune to that after watching Super. Okay, second question. How would you adapt weaker characters like Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha to modern DB via transformations, Zenkai boost, or techniques? I love to see Yamcha get revenge on Vegeta for stealing Bulma from him, lol. I'm a fan of both. I feel like potential unlock would probably be the best thing for Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha. Krillin already had it happen with Guru, but it never happened with Tien and Yamcha. I would love for Tien and Yamcha to drink some of the sacred water from Korin Tower, because that was the first potential unlock we got. And just because Krillin had his potential unlocked earlier doesn't mean it can't occur again, because now he is way stronger, and now there's been more, locked away energy, so that could occur as well. But I also think Kaioken would probably be the best. So, like, potential unlock, Kaioken, I feel like with those 2 things, plus their unique techniques they already have, they could be contenders, I think. Yeah. Or what would be cool is, like, maybe a magic item, like the fusion, like the Batara earrings, that sort of, like, makes it to where their bodies can handle more energy, and so they can then train to get better. Because even though there isn't really a limit, I will say that Toriyama, if he was still around, he probably would say, oh, but there are limits. I bet that's what he would think. I would like to see Yamcha get revenge on Vegeta for stealing Bulma too, in a way, although, at the same time, I also, it was completely just plot convenience for that. And, in it, I don't know, I would go in a whole spiel about that. But I would love to see the humans be more relevant. And I feel like the Sacred Water and then the Kaioken and then using their techniques that they already have, which helps them punch above their weight class, would be cool. All right, good question, though. Gamer Nonsense, which dub do you like the best? And if it is Ocean, then would you have liked to see the cast dub Super in the movies? Oh, man, I don't really have a favorite dub because, I feel like they're all great in certain areas. I fucking love the Ocean dub for the first 53 episodes. When I see those episodes, the music is so good, the voices are so, especially the villain voices, are so awesome. Now, granted, okay, a lot of the Ocean lines are very campy or cheesy or, very quote-unquote cartoony. But, the voice acting, it was done by veteran voice actors. The music was epic. God, it made everything seem so visceral, despite the silliness of it, too. Now, if they had the same production quality and the same drive, I would have loved to have seen them do that in Super in the movies. But, when they were told to go back and do Dragon Ball Z, the latter part that Funimation took over, they just didn't have the same drive anymore and the same production value. And so it sounded worse than what it was. And at first I thought that was just nostalgia talking. I thought it was just because I was used to Funimation in the latter half of Dragon Ball Z and Ocean at the beginning half. But I don't think that anymore. Because I love the Funimation in the beginning half of Dragon Ball Z as well. But I just don't like it. I don't like the Ocean dub at all during the Android Saga and later. Now, there are still some voices that are really cool. Brian Drummond's great as Vegeta. Scott McNeil is awesome as Piccolo. I think Kirby Morrow did fairly good with Goku. But, I really think that they just weren't trying as hard. It's the same thing with Funimation and dubbing the original Dragon Ball Z movies that Ocean dub already dubbed. They didn't try very hard there as well. If you watch Dead Zone, World's Strongest, or Tree of Might, the Funimation dub for those is terrible. But the best dub, it really depends on which part of the series you're referring to. I think Ocean dub does great. Probably the best in the first 53 episodes, and after that it's probably Funimation. But that's just me. Good question, though. Are really big dwarf 4, 5, 60? Hey, cool icon and cool name because I love dwarves. Are you angry? Are you angry about elves? Would you please grace us with one TTRPG story? Thanks. As a big dwarf fan, I don't dislike elves. I actually quite like elves. But I like dwarves more. Grace us with a TTRPG story. All right. There's plenty of TTRPG stories that I have, but here's one of them. Here's one of the craziest ones. I got a friend named Zen who was playing a character named Rawless, and we were on a pirate ship. Now, at the beginning of this RPG, someone was the pirate captain. And when we landed at a port, he flew up because he was like a Kenku, I believe. He flew, when the guards came up and said hey, what are y'all doing here? He flew up and said, we're the indecisive pirates. And the guard said, you're pirates? And then we immediately had to start over because he just gave up that we were pirates, docking there. And so what they said, everyone was being crazy and crazy guys. And so what they said to me was, hey, make yourself and be our pirate captain. So they essentially told me to make a character named Ben, because that's my name, and to make a pirate captain. I said, sure, whatever, I'll be a pirate captain. So it's literally just Poohhead the pirate captain. And so my friend Zen had made this fish man named Rallis, and there was a bunch of weird things that happened on this pirate journey. It was super fun. We still talk about it today. It was like 9 years ago now. But at one point, we had gone underground and found a bunch of alligators that were cursed by these evil druids. You know, some alligator was just like belching flame. Another alligator was really small. Another alligator was like, for some reason, covered in goo perpetually. There's a bunch of weird things happening to these alligators. We fight these evil druids. And we thought that was the end of that. And then one day, Rallis, who was supposed to be our cook, wasn't there in the morning cooking breakfast for us on the ship, and we were docked at a city. And my character, who was literally me, found him in a room over one of the corpses of one of the evil druids. Somehow he brought a corpse in there, and he was just over it, and it was stark naked. We were like, Rallis, what are you doing? And he wouldn't tell us. And so my character, and like I made him like a brawler because I'm an amateur bodybuilder myself. So my character is like pretty much a monk, you know, picks him up and shakes him. And what falls out of his pocket is a runic dick. And me and the crew are perpetually just like grilling him, like, what were you doing? Why did you remove this guy's dick? What are you doing? He wouldn't say. Eventually we rolled for it. We found out that what he did was that he got this dead evil druid. He cut his dick off, and he tried to make it a wand of unnatural lust. And so we were like, well, okay, you could do that, but you should. I'm the pirate captain. Everyone was wondering, we don't trust you. You need to tell us this. And we need to punish you for that. Because, one, you know, you're doing something that could, you know, like that you were probably planning on using on us. But two, you know, you were just being uncooperative and cursing us out for like an hour. So here's your punishment. We're going to lock you in this room, and I'm going to put this ring on you. And we had a ring of like prisoner and master, and it does nothing except if the prisoner is wearing it, the master knows where they are. And that's it. So we put the ring of prisoner on him. I had the ring of master. We went out to the town to get some supplies. Suddenly, the ring goes off. As in, like, I don't feel the connection anymore from the ring I'm wearing. And so we head back. And we see that Rallis blew open a hole in the side of the ship. His arm is stuck to the timber of the ship, and the fishman is gone. So he lost an arm and exploded something and is now gone for good. And we find out that what he did was he took 2 magic stones from the evil druids that we got, that he already had, and he tried to use the magic of these 2 eldritch stones to break the ring's magic. He rolled 2 natural ones. The magic exploded, ripped his arm off, and shot him out of the side of the ship like a cannonball. And my friend Zen had to make a new character, but Rallis became like a recurring villain after that because he was so petty. He just, he would, like, after doing the dick thing, and, like, God, I wish I remembered the exact everything for the story, because it was so fucking stupid and funny. But after the dick thing, like, he was just so uncooperative, he was cussing us out, And then he was so petty that he wasn't even being punished. He was just staying in that room as a timeout, the lightest punishment he can get. But he couldn't handle that. So he tries his best, and it miraculously backfires, and he essentially detonates a bomb out of spite that maims him and makes him roll a different character. And gets shot out of the side of the ship, and now he's gone, and Zen has to run the character. And to continue the story, Zen's new character is a paladin. I forgot his paladin's name. I wish I remembered I forgot the paladin's name. But he went on the ship, and he showed up, and he wanted to join the pirates. And my friend Lethal was playing a luchador, so like a Mexican wrestler, named El Tigre. And I said, like, you want to join our crew? All right. Fight El Tigre. If you beat El Tigre, you can join. And he goes, all right, I'll do that. And so he turns around, and El Tigre and him square up. And El Tigre is obsessed with grappling. And if you know anything about Pathfinder and grappling, is that grappling is pretty ridiculous. My friend Zen's paladin hit El Tigre twice, nearly killed him, and then El Tigre got a hold of him. Doesn't matter if he had a huge, big, long sword or magic, El Tigre was grappling. He was like, oh, I'm gonna grapple. And so he grabbed him, and Zen was starting to lose. He could not escape out of this meaty, oiled up luchador's hold. And after 3 turns, he casts a spell I forget the exact spell, but it was a spell that was like trying to convince. I think the spell was like an enchantment on El Tigre, and he said like, El Tigre, if you let me go, you'll win. And El Tigre lost the roll, like the will save. And my friend Lethal was like, does that mean I have to let go now? And the DM was like, well, that depends. El Tigre, do you want to win or do you want to grapple? And Lethal went like, oh, grapple! And then he just like Batista bombs Zen's paladin into the planks and defeats him. And my character, which is me, felt so bad for the paladin that he got grappled and then Batista bombed. I'm like, you know what? You did put up a good enough fight. You can join anyway. And Zen was so pissed off that he could not win that fight. And that grappling was so stupid. And that El Tigre was such a simpleton that he was just like, I want to grapple instead of win. And it made him win. It was such a good campaign. I love that campaign. Sorry if that was a long-winded story, but good question. All right, almost done with the questions. Zach TD8CV, what's your favorite dinosaur? I need to know, this is vital information. Baryonyx. When I was a little kid, okay, everyone says they're obsessed with dinosaurs as a kid, but I was obsessed with dinosaurs like I am obsessed with Dragon Ball now. When I was a kid, when I was in 3rd grade, the teachers got me to go and teach the 4th grade class for 30 minutes on dinosaurs. Like, they were like, oh, this kid is just stupid for dinosaurs. We're going to take him out of his own class and teach another class a grade higher because he is just obsessed. So I was super obsessed. I'm not as obsessed as I was anymore, although I still retain some of that knowledge. But Baryonyx is definitely my favorite dinosaur. Thank you, Zach. Goodman 4966. What are your also, hey, Goodman, what's up? What are your concerns / hopes about the future of Dragon Ball franchise now that Toriyama is sadly gone? I don't really know. Like, it doesn't bother me to. Well, I mean, it super bothers me that Toriyama's gone, but I wasn't that hopeful about the future of Dragon Ball anyway, because like I didn't really like Super too much, and I wasn't a big fan of like most things post Z, but as long as I still have my regular Dragon Ball, I'm happy. But I did love all the Super movies, and I wonder if those will be worse now. Hopefully not. Hopefully Toyotaro can step up. But if Dragon Ball is not as good anymore, it will not change much about how I view it, because my favorite is the original series. But if it's pretty good, or if there's still some gems in the future, I'm happy. Those are my mostly concerns and hopes. I just hope the next movies are good. Okay, thanks, Goodman. And Casperez 1806, I recognize you as well, like good man. How would you retcon DB to give more light and development to weaker characters like Krillin, Yamcha, Chaozu, Tien? I really like them more than the Saiyans, and I would like to hear your thoughts on that topic. I think I mostly answered that, but I mostly wish that Toriyama gave them more minions to fight, and I wish there were times when the Saiyans and Piccolo were incapacitated, and I wish that they would get they would try to get some of the same stuff that Goku got, like Core and Sacred Water, and like various things like that. But yeah, I don't think humans get transformations, because they're pretty similar to us, because we are humans as well. So I don't think we should, since we don't have transformation, I don't think humans should get transformations. But there are various ways to increase your power in Dragon Ball without transforming. Fusing would be cool. Why don't they fuse? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I think unlocking potential is probably the best way to go about that. All right. Thanks for all the questions, guys. There's a little bit more, but it's not on the regular community notes. Let's go check out other places. Let's see. Okay, Nintendo Fan 707, I recognize you. I do got a few questions, actually. What got you into Dragon Ball, and what's your favorite Dragon Ball Z game, and why? What got me into Dragon Ball is just thinking that Piccolo and Raditz squaring up was super cool, and wondering what the hell was going on. What's my favorite Dragon Ball Z game, and why? Burst Limit, like I think I said last time, and Fighter Z, or Fighters, whatever you call it. Those two are my favorites. Burst Limit because I think it has a great opening theme and really seamless gameplay. And I think Fighter Z has the best representation of the animated moves in any of the games. And it's just a pretty game. And of course, we got Android 21 being super sexy. Also, why am I called Poohhead? I think I answered this before, but I came up with the word poo when I was like 4 or 5 years old on the Super Nintendo, actually. Because I needed a 3-letter word to save my game on Mario Kart. And I had chosen Ben earlier, which is my name. But at the time, I thought Pooh was super funny. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll make it Pooh. Pooh. And I just make it like that. And then later on down the line, people were using usernames. I didn't know what else to call myself, because people would just make up these sort of cliche usernames, or these usernames that was on a certain thing. And as much as I'm obsessed with a lot of stuff, I don't know what is a good way to describe me in a name. And so I thought, why not do something that I have used before that is just something really silly and that I can make my own? Poohhead, calling myself Poohhead, now when people think of Poohhead, they don't think of the silliness, they think of me. If someone called themselves Toriyama fan 057, people would think of Toriyama instead of them. But for me, now whenever they hear the word Poohhead, they think of me. I remember when I first got on the forums, I had a young friend of mine named El Nelso, who was really one of my good friends in the forum. And then one day he went to school and someone called him a Poohhead, and he immediately got online and told me about it. He's like, they were calling me you. And that was so neat and funny to me. I thought that was so hilarious. But he rushed online to tell me. And I have made a silly, stupid name my own. And I like it. It's funny. It's funny. It's silly. And because I also like being, I try to be intelligent. It's also somewhat ironic as well. So, yeah, that's mostly why I'm called Poohhead. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm going to be Poohhead when I'm 60. Now, voice under the covers, who I recognize as well. Hey, hello. Here's a question for you. Got any Dragon Ball headcanons? Can it be simple, little fun ones, or major ones? That's a good question. Well, I already said I headcanoned that Tien learned the Kaioken. I headcanoned that Krillin did not go to King Kai's after he died from being killed by Frieza because he asked to be sent to heaven because he secretly wanted to be done. That's a potential one. I headcanoned that after the Cell games, Yamcha and Bulma still slept with each other occasionally. I headcanoned that Yamcha got one of his 2 facial scars between the King Piccolo and the 23rd tournament arcs from mishandling the Sokidan or Spirit Ball. I think that after the series ended, I think Vegeta misses Nappa occasionally and regrets killing him. And I headcanon that it was Nail's training knowledge that helped Piccolo increase his strength so much between the Frieza and Android sagas. Those are some of my headcanons. Hope those are good. Let's see. Also, looking through these, I want to say thanks to everyone for saying that they appreciated me when I said I appreciate you all. Some of you were like, "Oh, Poohhead, you're my hero," and I was like, "You're going a little too far there, but I appreciate it." But yeah, I appreciate all y'all. I really do. And call me a great YouTuber. I wouldn't say that, but thank you so much. Oh, someone went on my Dr. Arinsu post when I was Goonhead189, and they asked, launch or Android 18? Man, that's tough. I think launch is cuter to me, in my opinion, even though Android 18 is very cute and very, very hot. But I will say that I think me and Android 18 would probably make a better couple because she's very chill. And she knows what she wants, and I'm pretty chill, and I know what I want. We'd be pretty compatible, I think. But I think launch is sort of like people be like, no, I wouldn't want my blonde girlfriend my blue-haired nice girlfriend to sneeze and then start shooting at me. But if she's into you, then she won't shoot at you. So it would really depend. That's rough. I think I'd make a better couple with 18, but I think launch would probably be super fun. It's not really a good answer, but yeah. If you were in Dragon Ball, what villain would you most want to die to? Ooh, man. That's a good question. Probably Frieza. Yeah, Frieza. If you fight Boo, there's a very good chance he will do some body horror to you, like making you explode from your insides by like filling you up with his own form, like that one henchman, or like turning you into chocolate and eating you. And Cell, geez, man, he'll suck you up and he'll stab you with his syringe tail and then suck out your fucking soul. Or if he's in his perfect form, he'll want to see your fear before you die, which means he might torture you. Whereas with Frieza, he is evil and he is cruel, but most likely Frieza's going to kill you by just blowing up your planet. Or just obliterating you, which is quick and fairly painless as far as I can see, as long as it's quick. So probably Frieza. Or maybe Tao, too, because Tao, he will taunt you and make you know that it's futile to fight him, but he will just kill you instantly. He doesn't really torture either. So Tao or Frieza, I would say. Hey there, not sure where to put this, but this is the first time I've commented about this kind of thing to a YouTuber. Could you do a DB info video based around the potential unleashing aspects of the series? Guru, Old Kai, that kind of thing. Guess it'd also end up as a pretty Gohan-centric since he interacts with those concepts a lot. Anyways, I hope you get a bunch of questions for the Q&A. Have a good time. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm definitely going to make a video on that. On the a potential unlock. I'm probably going to do that in January or February. So stay tuned for that. I definitely am. But good questions. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate them. And now I will wrap it up with the anonymous questions. Not a lot of people asked me anonymous questions, but there was 2 of them. What is the most useless Saiyan form in the series? Probably Super Saiyan 3 for how little it can go on, or Ultra Super Saiyan for the speed decrease. And how long was the biggest PP you ever took, and did it make you laugh? This either means that they're asking how long, if like I ever got my shit pushed in, which I never have before, so I guess that's a 0. But how long I've peed as well. Probably like a minute and a half. I remember one time I peed a really long time. Did it make me laugh? No, it made me concerned. Okay. That is all of the questions for everywhere. This is cool. Thanks so much, guys, for being patient with me on these videos, because this month I've worked a lot and not been able to even think, so I appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this question and answer video. I know it's super long, but it'll give you something to think about and something to listen to. I want to thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a great New Year's, and I hope you guys just are feeling good, because I wouldn't be able to make these videos without you. So I appreciate it. All right, thanks everybody. See ya.